So we're going to look at solving equations by taking the cube root. So when we look at an equation, we're looking at cubics. We actually want to solve these equations, and in order to solve these, we have to be able to take a cube root because these are cubic functions. So what we're going to do to solve these equations is just like we did with quadratics. We're going to rearrange the equation first. So before I can do any root taking of either side, I have to move and divide. So first I have plus 10. So we have 2 times x plus 3 quantity cubed minus 10 equals 240. That's a cubic function. I'm going to move the 10 over. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. That's going to leave me with 2 times x plus 3 cubed equals 250. So once I've done this, I'm still not quite where I need to be to take the cube root of the function. So in order to take the cube root, I'm going to actually divide both sides by that 2. The 2 is in front, so it's multiplied by the factor. And remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So once I divide by 2, those will divide out, and I will be left with x plus 3 cubed equals 125. So I've gotten myself to a point now where I have a single expression on one side and a single expression on the other, so I can take the cube root of both sides. So I am going to do just that. I'm going to take the cube root of this side and the cube root of this side. And what that's going to give me is that's going to give me x plus 3, because the cube root of x plus 3 cubed is x plus 3 on this side. And on this side, I have the cube root of 125, which is 5, because 5 times 5 times 5, which is 5 cubed, is 125. So for my last step, I'm going to move the 3 over. I'm going to solve this just like a regular algebraic equation. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So x is going to equal 2. So that is my answer for that particular cubic. Now, if we look at an example like example 3, we're going to run into some different issues. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 1 to both sides, and that will give me negative 40 equals 5 times x plus 11 cubed. So that's my first step. All I've done is do my addition subtraction element. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Once I divide by 5, that's going to leave me with negative 8, because you have a negative divided by a positive, equals, remember those will divide into 1, x plus 11 quantity cubed. Now I'm ready to take the cube root. So I am going to take the cube root of both sides of my equation. That's going to leave me with x plus 11 on one side and negative 2 on the other. And here's where this is different. A cube root, you can take the cube root of a negative number. It's not like a square root where you have an imaginary number. Cube roots can be negative. They can be negative because you have an odd number of factors when you're cubing. You have 3 numbers, 3 values. So the 2 negatives will make a positive, and a third negative will make the value negative. So the cube root of negative 8 would be negative 2, because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is how we get negative 8. It can't be positive 2 because 2 times 2 times 2 is positive 8, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for negative 8. So now I follow the same process, and I'm going to subtract the 11 from both sides. Let me get my correct marker here. Subtract the 11 from both sides. So x is going to equal negative 13. And that is how we solve functions by taking the cube root. Now, we do have some applications of those, which I'm going to show you in the next video. So we will go ahead and stop the video here for just these 2 basic examples.